This is a video essay about evil Pokémon and what defines evil. Are there actually evil Pokémon, or is something else in charge? And by the way, these video essays take a long time to make, so if you enjoy, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks! Every Pokémon fan has one. That one Pokémon they think is pure evil. Maybe it's Giratina, maybe it's Darkrai, maybe it's Spiritomb, or even the person standing beside Giovanni. But here's the question: can a Pokémon actually be evil? Because when you stop and really think about it, Pokémon is full of monsters, ghosts, and creatures with terrifying Pokédex entries. Yet, the series almost never calls any Pokémon evil. So, what makes something evil in the first place? When most people think of an evil Pokémon, they usually think about appearance. Giratina was banished to another dimension. Darkrai brings nightmares. Hydreigon is described as destroying everything around it. Spiritomb is said to be made from 108 malicious spirits. Everything about these Pokémon screams villain. But appearance isn't morality. Take Darkrai as an example. For years, people believed Darkrai intentionally gave people nightmares. But in the Pokémon movies, Darkrai is shown protecting others. The nightmares aren't acts of cruelty. They're simply an unfortunate consequence of its power. Darkrai isn't evil. It's just misunderstood. Then there are Pokémon like Persian. If you've watched the anime, you've probably associated Persian with Team Rocket and Giovanni. And because of that, it's easy to think of Persian as an evil Pokémon. But is it really? Or is it simply loyal to its trainer? After all, if Officer Jenny owned that same Persian, would we still think it was evil? Probably not. The Pokémon didn't choose Team Rocket, the trainer did. Then, there are also the Pokédex entries. Some of them are disturbing. I think Drifloon is the most extreme example. Drifloon supposedly carries children away and kidnaps them. Frostlass freezes lost travelers. Bayonet hunts the people who abandon it. Malamar can hypnotize humans. Reading these entries, you'd think that Pokémon is secretly a horror series. But there's one problem. Can we actually trust the Pokédex? Some entries contradict each other. Others sound more like local legends than scientific facts. After all, if every Pokédex entry were literally true, the Pokémon world probably wouldn't function at all. Maybe these stories tell us more about the people writing them than the Pokémon themselves. And then there is Giratina, perhaps the Pokémon most people would call evil. Giratina was banished by Arceus, and it lives alone in the Distortion world. Not only that, Giratina has one of the most intimidating designs in the entire franchise. But Giratina wasn't banished simply because it was evil. It was banished because of its violence. And today, it watches over the Distortion world, helping maintain the balance between the worlds. That's not the role of a villain. That's the role of a guardian. So, are there actually any evil Pokémon? Maybe not, but Pokémon can be dangerous, territorial, violent, even destructive. But those traits don't automatically make something evil. Just like in the real world, animals attack to survive. Predators hunt because they're hungry. Maybe Pokémon are the same. Which brings us to something interesting. Think about every major villain in Pokémon. Giovanni, Ghetsis, Lysandre, Cyrus, Charmin Rose. They're all humans. The Pokémon usually aren't acting out of hatred or greed. They're following their instincts, or following the commands of the people who caught them. And maybe that's been Pokémon's message all along. Pokémon aren't born good or evil. They're simply creatures living in their world. It's humans who decide what to do with the power they have. And perhaps that's why, after almost 30 years, the greatest villains in Pokémon have never been the Pokémon themselves. They've been us. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.